Good morning. It is Saturday, September 4th. We officially have hit fall season. As you can see, I've started already. I have all of my Halloween / fall decorations out, and this week the weather was cooler, so it felt glorious. Very fall. The mornings are chilly, but it's still like sunny out during the day. It will be warmer coming up next week, but hopefully this is a good sign that we're going to be transitioning into a fall. And where I live, we don't always have the prettiest or longest fall. It usually ends up being like you get a couple of really pretty weeks, and then you go from really hot summer to rainy, snowy winter. So here's to hoping that this year decides to be pretty and very fall, and not freeze in September and throw everything out of whack for the rest of the season. So I'm not wearing anything crochet or knitting related to share today, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into my finished objects because I do have two. And first of all, I'm going to share my Sally's Patchwork bag by 9 Inspired. This is a test that I just completed. In fact, I think I started it 2 weeks ago, like the day after I recorded the last podcast. So I almost had it as a whip to share, but not quite. And I finished it up last weekend, took photos Sunday evening, and the pattern is actually already released. So you can find it on 9 Inspired's Etsy or Ravelry shop, whichever works better for you, if you're interested in making this pattern yourself. So this is what it looks like, and of course, with it being called Sally's Patchwork bag, you hopefully understand that this is inspired by Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I took on the brighter colors variation because I had these in my stash, and they're my favorite variation of Sally's colors, so that was just my personal preference. I don't normally wear things that are this bright, but I have been using it. In fact, you might be able to hear I have stuff in it because I'm already using it to bring my stuff to work, and it has been lovely. I really like the bag shape. I don't know, I think it is a very flattering an interesting shape, and the construction was really cool because you make all of these squares and then you sew them together, and so each side's different. Go ahead and flip it one more time, and then you put it all together, add the border and the straps, and then I decided to line my bag because I think lining crochet, I haven't knit a bag, but I imagine because of the nature of yarn, it would also run into the issue of stretching out with use without a liner. But having a fabric liner in there keeps the contents of your bag from weighing down the crochet part of it, the yarn part of it. And so, like, because the fabric doesn't really stretch. I mean, it stretches a little bit, but it is a closed container, if you will, that keeps everything in its space, whereas if it was just in the yarn, it would give and eventually stretch out over time. So this helps preserve the construction and shape of my bag, and yeah, I'm very excited to continue using it throughout the fall. I probably will keep using it for the rest of the year, to be honest, and who knows after that. It's a nice size, not too big, not too small. And yeah, I love it. So this designer also has Sally's Patchwork pumpkin from last year that I also tested, and that is a really cool little pumpkin, I think made in the moss stitch, that joins the different colors. Like, it's so cool. The construction blows my mind, and I have that still from the test last year. I'm not giving that to anyone. It's my pumpkin. And I think I've already set it out for the year. I hope so. I better have. I'm going to double check. But that is one of the few pumpkins I've made that I've kept because I just love it so much. So anyway, enough about that. Next, I don't have it physically with me because I did an item drop to a local like artist place that sells. I have a friend who she's a resident artist there and has been gracious enough to let me have some of my items there for sale. So I have both of my autumn pumpkins and my gorge pumpkins there. And I just did the handoff this week, so I don't have it with me, but I did do the reverse variation of the autumn gold pumpkin by Woolen Knits. And that was the one that had the really, I'll insert a photo, but that was the one that had the really cool like ribbing with the multicolor contrast. And the first version was the green with the yellow ribbing, and then I had enough of each color left over that I could do it the second version with the yellow tweed pumpkin and then the green ribbing. So again, I'll have inserted a photo here, but let me know which one you like better because I can't decide. I was thinking that I would love the yellow one more because I really wanted, like, I think the tweed on it was super cool and I thought it would make a really cool pumpkin. But seeing them side by side, I think I like the green one better. I can't tell, I can't decide. So I'm curious, which one do you like better? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to post a photo of the green pumpkin as well, the first one I made, in case you didn't catch that in my podcast from, I think, just the previous time. So those are my FOs, and now we'll move on to whips. I will start with what I normally start with, and that is my Tidings to You by Amy Gunderson. This is the project from the 2020 Jimmy Bean's Craft Vent box package. Make sure I have it the right way. I didn't, so hold on. This is the project that my mom and I work together on every week. And we just, we try to do like 6 to 8 rows or so every Saturday. And we are now on a new color. I think I was at the ribbing last time. I just started with this cream color, so you couldn't really see it, but now you can see that it has some speckling going on. There's like green and I think some brown speckling in this like cream toned yarn, and it contrasts really beautifully with this brown, and of course I'm in love with this mustard. But we started a new large lace section and we haven't quite got far. I mean, you can kind of start seeing some of the details, but we haven't got quite far enough to see if it's going to change, because like down here kind of started the same way where it was doing this lace thing and we thought it was just going to be that way the whole time, and then it does this like really cool leaf thing. So I think today we'll probably get far enough to know what to expect from this large lace section, but that is where I'm at. And it's been a little while since I think I've shown the whole thing, so we're just gonna do a pan real quick. And we are over halfway done. So at some point, I can't remember for sure how many colors we have left, but I'm very excited to have a block party with my mom, and we'll be able to see what it looks like in its full glory once everything's finished. So this next one is my main whip that I'm trying to put a lot of my energy into. Not to like rush in finishing it up. I mean, I want to finish it up so I can wear it. But also, I'm going to be doing some Halloween make-alongs, and I want to make sure that I can keep up with everything because I probably signed on for too much, but I want to. So this is my Superstitious pullover by Michael Shawn, and I've had it in the podcast for a few weeks now. But I have a yoke If you follow me on Instagram, I've been posting a couple of updates there in between podcasts, including oh my gosh, it's getting heavy, so I don't want to like. So there's my neckline. It's upside down, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna. Let's see if I can at least get the sleeve out of the way, because I think it's not helping. Let's try it this way. So neckline. Then we have our witches. And then more color work. And I've split off for the sleeves. So here's one sleeve with my waist yarn. Here's the body I'm working on. And then here's my other sleeve. And I've never knit a sweater like this before. Yeah, because crochet, it's not the same because you don't have live stitches. So this is my first time doing the whole sleeve split and making a yoke in this kind of traditional sense. And I'm very excited. I'm officially done with the color work now. I like the look of colorwork sweaters that have it primarily on the yoke and not necessarily on the whole body. This pattern has colorwork throughout like the whole thing, and it's great because I've been able to mix and match charts to my heart's content and make something super unique for what I want to wear. But I'm choosing to stop the colorwork here. I can't remember if there's webbing at the bottom above the bottom rib line. I think there's bottom ribbing, but I believe, at least for the body, I'm done with alternating colors. I think once I pick the sleeves back up, oh my gosh, I have to finish up the cobwebs like I did on the body here. Some of these go a little further. And then the rest of it's stockinette. So got a few rows of that in last night, and that will now be, I feel like this will now move pretty quick, I hope. And that way I can have it done. I would love to wear it this month, and then obviously next month, but I would love to start wearing it this month. We'll see. So that is my big one that I'm trying to put a lot of my priority into. So this is like my evening project. When we're watching TV in the evening, this is kind of what I'm working on because I don't like watching TV and not working on something. I need something for my hands. So that is what I'm doing. And then I have a couple of projects that I've been bringing to work on during my lunch break. One of them, which I just started yesterday, and that is the Lift Your Spirits Mystery Crochet Along by Mandobug. And it is a ghost-themed mystery crochet along. So we got just a few hints before it started about what kind of yarn we would need, what our gauge would need to be, yada yada yada. And the first clue came out yesterday. So there's charted and written versions, and I decided I haven't really read charts before, and so I decided that I was going to use this opportunity to kind of try and learn. Like, I've seen them and I know what they do, but they're still mysterious to me. Not that I've really looked into instructions on how to read a chart, so that's partially on me. But I always get confused on how you know, like, what the beginning does and what you chain at the end when you turn or when you join up in rows. And anyway, so I've been kind of using the written instructions as like a check when I would work the chart and go, okay, does that match up with what's happening in the written instructions? Am I understanding that correctly? Okay, cool, let's move on. So far that's been working out pretty well. I'm using, this is the one where it was the Knit Picks Pearlescent Stroll Fingering. I mixed that up. Pearlescent's the color, Knit Picks is the brand, and then the Stroll Fingering is the type of yarn. So this is what it looks like in cake form. It's a very slight variation of like a cream and gray, so very ghosty. This is your spoiler alert warning. If you do not want to see the first clue of the mystery crochet along, please skip to 17 minutes. And then here is what I have worked out so far. Oop, big end right there. So it is going to be a shawl, and I'm just working on it. There's a pretty big difference between the large and the small. There are 2 sizes for this pattern. And I was originally going to do something in between, and we'll see. It's only week 1, only clue 1, so we only have part of the whole, you know. So I'm just going to work all of clue 1 and play it by ear and see what happens. And I have 2 skeins currently, and I was going to try and use up as much of those as possible. But I might change my mind and just buy the 3, it takes 5 skeins, buy the 3 additional skeins I would need, and do the large one anyway. We'll see. So that's where I'm at. It has this variation. Again, I mean, it's in the yarn, so it's in the project between the cream and the grays, but it's actually kind of cool because I didn't realize, like, you don't notice it as much in the cake or the skein form, the difference in the grays. Like, there's this darker gray and this more like silver gray. So I thought that was interesting. Sorry, actually the silver gray is more like in this area. It almost looks cream on the camera, but in person you can see the variation more. So that is that. There's actually going to be a live stream event with the designer and the dyer of the recommended indie dyed yarn for this project later this morning. So I'm recording my podcast bright and early this Saturday so I can go hop on over there in like an hour or so and join in on that fun stuff. So that's that. That's my first Halloween make-along, by the way. So that and my superstitious pullover are kind of time-based, so I want to, you know, put my energy toward those 2 projects primarily, so that'll be what you see a lot of in the next, you know, the upcoming weeks. And then I also I've been working on my July fall square as part of the Traveling Seasons Afghan that's hosted by Lion Brand and Whistle and Wool. And so this particular square is like an applique type square, so my background is just single crochet, although it's in a really big hook to get gauge, and I've been having a hard time getting gauge with this blanket, and I've had to use some pretty big hook sizes that I don't normally have to do, but I'm getting these beautiful drapey blocks, and it's making me love crochet again. Not that I hated it, it's just there's something about the way knit drapes that I feel like I wasn't getting in crochet, and part of it could be that I'm using wool here because I dyed this yarn, and part of it is the bigger hook, but it's just, so here's what my fall yarn is looking like worked up. I haven't blocked it, so I just finished it a couple days ago, so it's not blocked and it's curling up on me, but this is looking pretty awesome. I really like the variation. I was trying to go for getting, like, I wanted it to be a semi-solid, but I wanted there to be some color variation for some visual interest in these blocks. Not too much, because I also want the design to be the focal point, obviously. So that is my background square, and then this was the first fall square, and it has a little pencil applique that will be stitched on the front. And I found out, I didn't realize that it was going to have Tunisian crochet, but I started the pencil. Let's see, where'd it go? Not very far on the pencil. So I'm assuming this is the eraser at the end. And surprise, there's Tunisian crochet. And I recognized it as soon as she started, as soon as the designer started giving instructions, but I didn't realize there was going to be Tunisian crochet, so I thought that was kind of cool. So this is a project, again, it's hosted by Lion Brand and Whistle and Wool, but every month there's a different designer who's created a square for this project so that you get kind of like a patchwork themed blanket by the end of the year. And I am officially, this is July's square, so I'm 2 squares behind. Well, I guess 2.5 technically, since I'm not done with July's, but I have August and September square now that I need to complete, and that will actually take me out of fall, and next month will already be the winter squares, so it'll be the last color. I don't anticipate being done by the end of the year at all, but that's okay. We'll get there, and I'm still really excited to have this project to work on. I'm getting chunks done here and there. Again, this has been in my little project bag with my mystery crochet along yarn, and this has been what I've taken to work and just kind of worked on during my lunch break. So I can't remember if I said I made this project bag, but I was testing out my new sewing machine last year and had some of this fun fabric on hand, and I just followed a pattern to create this cute, it was the smallest project bag I believe, and as you can see it is pretty small, but it usually fits the little things that I'm taking. The shawl won't fit in there for long, but for now it does, so that is where that is at. And that is actually all I have to share today. It was pretty quick, but like I said, with most of my energy being put into one project and then now 2 projects, those will be my priorities, and I'm probably going to pause on everything else just so I can really focus on getting particularly my pullover done so that I can start wearing that. Obviously the mystery crochet along, with it being released on a weekly basis as clues, I won't be able to have that done until I think it's done mid-October, because I think there are 6 clues, and I can't do anything about that, but I can at least make sure that I am staying caught up so that I'm not falling super behind, and then push that later than Halloween, because that would make me sad. And then mid-October, there's going to be a knit along that I think I will be joining in by Amba O'Brien. It's called the Betwixt Shawl, and that was the one that I think a couple of podcasts ago I shared yarn that I had dyed for it, the little mini skeins. And as I've been thinking about it and seeing teasers for the pattern more and more, I think I've changed my mind on using the mini skeins. I'm pretty sure I found a backup plan that I'm gonna like more, but who knows? I'm leaving both options available and I might change my mind again. So hope you're all doing well. Follow me on Instagram if you'd like to see some updates in between podcasts, and my Ravelry is always up to date with what I'm working on and what I'm using and any modifications I make, all that good stuff. So all that information will be down below, and until next time.